Hello and welcome to episode 164 of the 77 Club. Harry, throw some social action at me.
The Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I have to say that now. And YouTube. Please subscribe and tell a friend.
Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello, Wolfsons. What's Apple Podcasts?
I don't know. That's what I just think that's the better way to say it. iTunes ain't right, is it? I haven't got an iPhone, so you can tell me if that's right.
Well, if you work a little bit harder, you can go and get an iPhone. And Jack Williams is here.
Hi, everybody.
Excellent. Bayliss, we haven't seen you since you were down the sewer, and I just wanted to know how it went to begin with. How it was down the sewer on a Thursday night.
Very good. Yeah. Still got the smell in my nose. I've been all over the place since I went down the sewer, to be honest.
Just mentally or in general? It's something in the stools.
I did my first COVID away trip.
There you go. Excellent. Harry, we will start with Brentford at home, what was supposed to be a very, very easy game of football. 3 points on the board. It didn't quite work out like that, did it? A pretty dour game, but they did a job on us, as Jack likes to say.
Yeah, and I feel a bit silly because I was banging on last week's podcast about we should give these a hiding. I think it's an easy win, simple game for us. And then they just come, get their tactics spot on. I couldn't see it coming how bad we were going to play because we were absolutely horrendous all over the pitch. Yep. We could have played for a week solid and we wouldn't have scored. And they did a job on us, and our defence were weak as piss. So it was a really bad day at the office, and the early kickoff curse is real.
Jack, it was just one of those where you just think, actually, this isn't going to go the way that we planned at all. Where's Bruno Ball gone?
Well, I mean, Bruno Ball's still the same thing. We couldn't score earlier in the season, and we still can't score now. We've had 2 goals against Watford, one of which was an own goal, and suddenly we thought we were going to rip Brentford apart. But it was just poor all over the pitch, wasn't it? I know there's the early kickoff excuse, but I don't think anybody really particularly played well in the whole team. And even when they went down to 10, you were watching the game, you're thinking, we ain't going to score here. There's no chance we're going to score here. Is that your dog's barking, Sam?
Who's that dog?
Yeah, I fucking shoot the thing.
So,
carry on.
But if you look at the players who have been probably the standout players so far this season, if you look at like Traore, they kept him quiet, didn't really do anything, did he? Apart from hit crosses at 200 mile an hour, so no one can get anywhere near him. Neves got caught in possession at the top of his own box, which is just out of character and just risky. Just so many people having off days. And you look at the goals as well. You look at the 2 goals. They're just so avoidable. Marcel gets warned about holding people, and he's holding him. It's not a soft one. He's full on wrestling him, basically. He gets warned about it once. And then 2 minutes later, he does it again. Yeah. What's the thinking behind that? It's just stupid. And for the second goal, Kilman has done really well so far this season. He tries to be clever rather than just deal with it and put the ball into touch. He tries to be clever and retain possession and stand back up. And it doesn't go to plan. And then obviously defending from that point on isn't very good either, but it's just so avoidable and it's just silly goals. And we need to get out this habit, really, this habit of of just letting teams score easy, because if it takes us 20 shots to score a goal, we can't let the other team score every other chance they get, because we're just going to lose games of football.
Bayliss, we were playing for, I think it was 36 minutes against 10 men.
Yeah, I have to work 1 weekend a year, and it was Saturday. And I'm really happy it was that weekend.
No, because Bayliss was like, "Oh, I've got to work that weekend," so he dropped it into conversation, and then I clocked it and said, "That's moving in weekend for the universities." Bayliss, you've been moving in lefties all week. How do you feel? Spent your weekend.
I didn't talk about any politics. I literally carried boxes around all day, but I did watch the second half, in all fairness. I missed the first half because I couldn't get away from it, but I watched the second half, and I don't think I missed a hell of a lot.
Did you deliver all the boxes? Are they all in the right place? Did you get any tips?
Yeah.
Don't fry bacon with your shirt off. Excellent. Harry, I think I saw some sort of stat that is all over the place. 99 minutes of football played in this particular game. The ball was in play for 50 minutes and 43 seconds. It doesn't sound like a lot. But then I did some proper journalism, which, a lot of social channels don't, by the way. I got angry with it and wrote a column. But according to, I think it's a 2017 study from somewhere, it found that the ball is in play on an average of less than 60 minutes a game. So, I mean, it's not as bad as it sounds, but it does make sense. It did seem to go on for a very, very long time. I've never seen a goalkeeper change his gloves.
Yeah, they had the dark arts down to a T, Brentford, didn't they? And they had the officials in place that they could get away with it at the best advantage they could get, if you get what I mean. The officials are absolutely horrendous. It don't make much difference to the result because we'd have lost anyway, but it was really frustrating. That one as well, I can't remember if it was, I think it was second half, when he was clearly offside for one of that when we were attacking, but then they just let the play go. And then the Wolves players were running around like headless chickens trying to put in the net, even though we knew he was going to be offside. So the officials didn't have no control of the game. But as I mentioned, it didn't make any difference. We got battered, and it's because of our piss poor defence is why we lost that game, and bad finishing.
Jack, it seems that it's another case against a big physical side that it doesn't work out. I mean, their number 20, I can't remember who it was now, was playing right back, was probably the tallest person I've ever seen in my life. And it just looked like that evergreen barge trying to turn in the Suez Canal when he was trying to turn.
It's also like the tale of Taylor's oldest time, that whenever Conor Cody comes up against a big old-fashioned centre forward, he can't handle it, can he? And that was the case on Saturday with Tony. So, something we need to address, but we've not addressed it for many years, really. And it's just the same thing. And I don't know, really. I don't know what to say. It was a poor performance all round. And blame the early kickoff, blame whatever you want. And just hoping, though, it was just an off day. Because if you look at the league games, I know the cup games last night, we'll forget about it. It is still 4 good performances out of 5. Only 3 points. It's not good, but it's not a complete disaster. So it just depends how we respond to it, doesn't it? Because one thing we did have under Nuno is we'd always seem to have a terrible result and then pull a good one out the bag just after.
Back ability.
And it's a case of whether we can do that as well under Bruno. So I don't know, but I'm not worried just yet. But that was, it was concerning. But maybe we're not giving Brentford enough credit. Maybe, they're better than we thought we were, which is probably true. I thought it'd be a good game of football. I thought it'd be a high-scoring game. But obviously, I forgot that we can't score. So to be involved in a high-scoring game, you have to have a team that can score.
Bayliss, I make that 9 home Premier League games in 2021 losing at Molineux, the most of anyone else in the division. Winning is a habit, and so is losing. I mean, we were sat there, weren't we, Harry, thinking, when are we going to see a goal at Molineux?
Is that a question for me or Bayliss?
Either. I was talking to Harry, but yeah, I did invite Bayliss. But either one of you take it.
We didn't have a shot on target against Brentford, did we, as well? Which, considering they had 10 men, like you said, for half an hour, was very frustrating. And talking of frustration, Raul Jimenez tried a Rabona, fell over, looked like an absolute bonker, did a David Dunn. Then he missed that header at the end, and his frustration just poured out around the whole of Molineux. He took his headband off the knee and started punching the shit out the floor. So we need him to... obviously, look, he had a really serious injury. It's so easy to forget that, but he is not the player he was, is he, at the moment? And we need him to get a goal or something just to give him that confidence. And if it means not wearing that headband, which I think the medics will not be happy with and he probably won't be allowed to do, then so be it. But that was mad when he took his headband off.
Here's one for you then, Bayliss. In the Premier League, the most chances created without an assist this season, who are the top 3 out of the whole league?
Raul Jimenez.
Correct. That's number 1, yeah.
I saw this on Twitter as well, but
you got to get it right then.
It didn't go from short-term to long-term memory.
Well, you got to guess what it, really.
Educated guesses, I think.
Traore.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I'm guessing the other one isn't a Wolves player.
It is a Wolves player.
Oh, is it? Oh my God.
It is, yeah.
Neves?
Correct. Yeah, 3 out of 3. Give you that. Yeah, out of the whole league. And the actual numbers are 15 for Jimenez, 12 for Traore, and 11 for Neves. So quite an eye opener there.
So what's the problem then? What is the problem? Because this
finishing.
It's just like
those sticks at the end, each end.
Yeah,
like that shape.
But,
we're doing it on the outside of the sticks, and they need to be on the inside of the sticks.
Inside.
Where the net actually have some intelligent conversation about what we thought it was. But yeah, okay, thanks.
No, but the only, even though we had no shots on target, the only 2 that stuck out for me where we could have scored was one when Traore smashed it off the underside of the bar, but that took a massive deflection, didn't it? And Raul's header, really.
Raul's header, yeah.
Apart from that, it was all half chances, wasn't it? And we didn't really create anything clear cut, which is testament to Brentford's defending. They had 5 at the back, as Sam mentioned. 3 of them were absolute man mountains. And their 2 strikers ran us ragged. Kilman, who's usually reliable, should have put Tony in the stands on that one when he just solid tackled and let him carry on through. And then, obviously, Marcel was turning to Johnny Wilkinson. I don't know if he used to tackle, did he? But you know what I mean? A rugby player.
We have done this quite a few times in the past. We're awful down both sides. Every now and again, you just need to be a shithouse and kick someone in the air, or kick the ball miles, or commit a stupid foul. Just don't let them get past you to get that just one on the overlap. The second goal's a proper disgrace. I mean, the right back is nowhere to be seen.
Look at that. 10 minutes and 21 seconds, everybody.
He's not even in the frame.
It's Bayless bingo.
If you watch the whole of the highlights, he's not even in the frame, and he's the right back. Then it draws out Kilman, who makes a shoddy attempt at a tackle. Fair enough, he's actually been very good so far this season, but that was a poor attempt at a tackle. Then you've got, is it 3-on-3 nearly? Sace then doesn't go with his man. It's just a fuck up after a fuck up after a fuck up, and you're like, well, they deserve to score then, don't they?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Bayless, just on Semedo, no one had a good game, but out of the 5 defenders, if you like, including the wing-backs, he was probably the best player on the day.
Oh, 3 cheers for Semedo in a 2-0 loss at home.
I'm just sticking up for him because you can't out-single him when Sace took off. Sace took off at half-time because he was so bad.
We've got pissed 2-0 at home. 2-0 at home by a team that have just come up, and you've gone, Semedo had a good game.
I know we just said Semedo's better. Defenders. He's better than Cody and Sace, which obviously ain't saying much. But
better than those midfielders. I
did like the fact that at one point, well, particularly towards the end of the game, we'd literally adopted to go for a 2-2-6 formation and still couldn't score.
Against 10 men.
What was going on?
What you've literally just said is, Rolf Harris was a better artist than Jimmy Savile.
What? That don't make sense.
They're all terrible. Is that what it says? We're so bad at the back. They are horrifically bad at the back. And we're trying to praise one of them.
Say that again.
Yeah, I'm just sticking up for Semedo. But look, listen, that 2-2-6, a lot of people were saying on Twitter, which I can see why they were saying it. Did it feel a bit like desperation and amateurish from Bruno Lage? That because we praised him a lot, but that did feel a bit desperate, didn't it? And
I don't know, man. Like
Trincao was left wing back at one point, and we had about, as you say, 6 attacking players. Podence was everywhere. We don't know where he was playing. Traore, as you mentioned, was whacking it into the steeple upper every time he crossed it from the right. So strange.
But another interesting thing I saw was the fastest players in the Premier League this season so far. So who do you think that is?
Well, it's got to be Traore, isn't it?
No, it's not. Is it Rudiger? So it was. This was also on the Twitter sphere.
It was on Twitter sphere. It's Adam Armstrong at Southampton, who clocked 35.6 kilometers an hour, but just behind him is Adama Traore, and then you got Zaha in third. I hate doing man of the matches for losses at home, so I'm going to do one. Let's move on to the Spurs game. It was Premier League action to League Cup action. I didn't think Bruno would make many changes, Harry. He made 9 in the end. Did you see that coming?
Yeah, definitely. After the performance against Brentford, I was definitely expecting changes. And obviously, he made a lot of changes in the League Cup last time out. And let's be honest, we didn't think Spurs would play as strong as team they did. So I was happy to see Yerson come in, Bolly, the rest, Hwang, Podence. And it's just a shame, which I'm sure we got into, that Yerson got injured. Then we had to bring on Mr. Reliable Cody to just spoil the party 10 minutes in. But yeah, I expected it, and I was quite happy with the team, to be honest.
Jack, we sort of turned to each other, didn't we, when Mosquera went down? Because Cody started warming up, and we were like, oh, there he is, clap, 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 clap. And then he was taking his shirt off, and then he was coming on, and it was like, we can't catch a break here. We just can't even see the team without him in it.
Well, firstly, I think we should just say it's just so upsetting for Yerson, isn't it? Because everyone's excited to see him. We've got a defender who's really promising, young lad, good in pre-season, then got injured, unfortunately. Got a bit of pace about him, and he's obviously really wants to play. You can tell by him on Twitter. He's really was buzzing for last night, even though it was only a Carabao Cup game. And then to be injured within 5 minutes and subbed within about 7, I couldn't really see what happened at the time. I'm not quite really sure.
Yeah,
he just pulled up. So. Yeah. I hope he's not out for too long, because it must be really gutting for him. And Wolves fans are really excited to see him because obviously he's done well in pre-season. So, it's gutting for him. And it's just an unfortunate set of situation really. Suddenly, Cody comes on. For some reason starts, rather than just going straight in the middle, starts playing on the right of the back three, which was weird straight away. And then within about 5 minutes has kicked the ball straight into a defender to let him run onto it and be clean through. And we're 1-0 down. And obviously Cody's had a lot of stick today and recently, so you can see that any way you want to, really.
And rightly so.
Did you see the funny thing from I can't remember which of the live text services it was. It could have been BBC Sport,
CFAX,
Sky.
Teletext.
Could have been. See, they said, "Oh, Willy Bolly's had to go off," and it's a shame. The daft racists.
They made a big mistake there. Really? I've seen that. Yeah.
No excuse.
Oh dear.
Crap opening 30 minutes, Bayliss, but I think we've got to say good character to come from 2-0 down at the end. I think the goal came at a good time, sort of before the break, maybe 7 minutes was it? And I think we had a tails up, really.
I thought second half we looked the better team. Tottenham did have some good chances, but I thought we looked pretty good going forward. We broke really quickly. I thought Podence looked sharp. And one of those games on another day, Wolves go and win it 3-2 sort of thing. But that said, we did deserve to lose it on the whole. You know, the first half performance wasn't outweighed by the second. It's like, again, if you're paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week or however much it is, and you can't kick a ball from 12 yards in between those sticks,
the inside of the sticks.
I think we've talked about Johnny Wilkinson already. He'd have been proud of Neves' penalty.
Some of them penalties.
I want to mention, go from one Johnny to a John Ruddy. Harry went from could have been 0 to absolute hero, didn't he? I mean, when everybody just looked at each other, wouldn't it? When he just did a long barrier, the classic John Ruddy scoop in a cup game situation, and how it didn't fly into the top corner, I will never know.
Oh man! Firstly, he couldn't really do much about the first 2 goals, could he? He was just really bad defending.
Not really, no. As soon as you know Kane's through.
Neil has just said in the comments, I just need to flag this up. We have got to say, because we can't just bash Cody completely. It was a bad pass by Podence, but it was still weak as piss by Cody. Anyway, back to Ruddy.
All right, Neil.
Yeah, back to Ruddy. Yeah, as you mentioned, that one, it was comical near enough, wasn't it?
We looked at each other and we were laughing.
Yeah, we all
had my head in my hands. I was
but then he turned into prime Peter Schmeichel, didn't he? He saved that one from what's his name? That Brian? What was his name? Jill, that lad they had, Spanish lad. He was lively, by the way. He should have scored that, and then obviously Harry Kane's header as well.
Save from Kane, that was world class.
Ruddy pretty much got us to penalties in the end, didn't he? With his saves. So fair play to Ruddy, because we know he's got a mistake in him, but if he pulls off 2 amazing saves like that with a mistake, well done. Praise.
And to be fair to him, he saved a penalty as well, didn't he? And what more can you ask to save? If you save 1 out of 4 as a keeper, that's good, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And the thing is, the difference between Spurs and Wolves, or one of the differences, is they're just more clinical, aren't they? They're just natural finishers. Like, you didn't ever think their penalties were brilliant. You didn't think they were going to miss one of them. Really.
They were
really well. The one that was saved, and that wasn't a terrible penalty.
Yeah.
But Hwang's wasn't a very good penalty.
No, it wasn't.
No. He was lucky. The only one good one was
Coutinho's a good one.
Yeah. But
Cody's was poor.
The thing is, with you mentioned Neves is that the free kick he had in the last minute, if he'd have done that instead of what he did, obviously with the free kick with his penalty, would have gone top bins.
Yeah, I said to the bloke in front of me, he was like, "Oh, Dendoncker will take one." I was like, "Why is Dendoncker taking one? He can't finish under pressure." Granted, he scored a header, but there was no pressure really there.
He's good at Bohemian Rhapsody.
So, so I don't know why he was taking one, because he never looked like he was going to score. He was weak, and you just knew when he got to penalties that they're just better finishers than us, and they will comfortably win, and they did really. But fair play to John Ruddy for making it interesting. Really, he's probably man of the match, isn't he, John Ruddy?
I thought, I know we mentioned Podence's pass. I mean, me and Jack was on about it earlier. I thought Podence played well. He took his goal well. And I wanted to start next game, but great finish. We need finishing, and Podence showed he can do a 1-on-1 and calmly slot into the corner.
It's the whole finishing thing, isn't it? Because I think if you compare, and I know they're chalk and cheese really, but like when you take someone like Fabio Silva in the very, very young compared to someone like Harry Kane, but when Fabio Silva goes through on goal, you think, I wonder how he's going to miss this. But when Kane goes through on goal, you're like, all right, okay, well, we have to. He's going to bury it, and he did, didn't he? So,
and that was. I watched the highlights back because I was watching. Obviously, when we sit in the North Bank, I was like, "How did he just get that much space?" Obviously, we were at a high line. I watched it back. Cody just completely stepped forward and just created a massive gap, and then he was through. He had the quickest as he came, but did he? He's got to hold the shape, ain't you? Because then it's like Moses for Harry Kane, one of the deadliest strikers in the world. He's just going to run through and score, isn't he?
Cody just started holding him towards the end, didn't he? He just started holding him.
That's what you got to do. He'll buy a foul
over every time anyway.
So, yeah, but he's just deadly, and he's just such a clinical finisher. You can't let him have the chances. That's why I'm shocked that header didn't go in. I don't know how John really saved it.
That's
that's the difference.
A wider question about the League Cup, because Harry, I think in fairness to us, it was before the game that you sort of made the point of, let's have a conversation about should it be scrapped. So should it be scrapped?
The League Cup or the Carabao Cup? Well, the argument, what it was, I was listening to Talk Sport, and they were saying because we're the only league in the top 5 leagues left that have got 2 domestic cup competitions. I think France, because of COVID, scrapped one of theirs. But the argument is everyone plays their weak teams, which technically we did, but we were still strong. Spurs played a strong team. So it was quite a good advert for the Carabao Cup last night, I thought. 2 teams that wanted to go through and played a fairly strong team. It is disrespected a bit. And when you've got championship teams like Forest did against us in the round previously, playing their second string, with all the international fixtures and more fixtures coming into it, I think eventually they probably will scrap it. But I wouldn't be that bothered if they did, although it's a cup that we should be looking to win, really.
Can't
say that, but Man City have won it like 4 of the last 5.
Yeah,
because their B team's still better than most of the teams.
Exactly.
It's very true.
That's why. But you can't just scrap it, because all it's doing is doing a favour to the big clubs again, isn't it? It's like the Super League all over again. I'm not being funny. Like, as a neutral perspective, and even as a Wolves fan, last night was very entertaining. It was worth 15 quid. It was, and especially it didn't even mean that much. And it got a penalty shootout. It's a good game to get, because obviously it is tough to get tickets these days. So if you've got younger Wolves fans that you can go and you can take, and their first experience is a 2-2 draw with Tottenham. You see Harry Kane, there's a penalty shootout. That's exciting, isn't it? That's exciting. So why are we saying, oh no, just in case Liverpool have to play a couple of extra games, let's ban the whole thing? Nah, piss off.
Sorry to change the subject, but
CJ's maths is a little bit out there. And then he's corrected it, but he's still wrong. I think we've won 2.
We've won 2, yeah. But you get it.
Forest.
Anyway, what made me laugh last night as well, when the second went in from Harry Kane, the amount of people in the North Bank round by us who left and just went home.
And the penalty
was a nightmare.
And the penalties, they all started to leave, and then John Roddy stayed, and everyone's on the concourse like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
And then Cody smacks it off the bar anyway, so they all went then.
Bayliss, do you want to see it scrapped? I mean, Pep Guardiola came out, I think it was either today or maybe last night, and said that he wants his under-23s to be playing in the League One of the Championship.
If he wants to do that, then he can piss off back to Spain and do it what they do in their league. We've had a pretty functional, well-working football system for quite a while, and that's why it's the best in the world.
You say that, but I actually want to bring this up because Derby County obviously getting dock points for this. And when you look at the breakdown of, because when they did the Super League and they said, well, look, you can't punish them too much because that's not fair on the fans. Where are all these people now that, Derby's fans have been shat on by a great hype because they've got owners that have...
It's almost as if celebrities only do it for their own self-gratification and recognition on social media.
Because I've got it here, QPR. So it's basically called Fix the System. Fines and deductions. It's the Big Six versus the EFL. So the Big Six that tried to break away into the European Super League obviously got fined £3.5 million each, £21 million overall. QPR got £17 million fine. Derby's obviously gone into administration, 12-point deduction. Macclesfield, 17 points deducted. They're wound up, don't exist anymore. Wigan, 12 points deduction. Bolton, 12-point deduction. There's so many on here. Portsmouth, multiple times. Bury, exactly the same. Luton, they had 40 points deducted in total just from their financial. And Leeds, it just shows how good it is for them to get back in the Premier League. 25 points for a breach in administration as well. And it's happened to other teams, big teams in there. Coventry, Rotherham, Bournemouth. Birmingham City, we don't mind that. Palace, obviously, Plymouth. It just goes to show that there's definitely a bias, and that £3.5 million for teams that don't really care about that amount of money is just ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, totally. I mean, what a way to prove that the people running football are not in touch with football fans. Like, fair enough, punish Derby County. Fair enough. If you can't run a club properly and you go into administration, then do punish that club, but don't end up screwing all the fans for the rest of their time. Yes,
maybe. How do you punish it though? How would you?
There's probably nothing wrong with a deduction of points, but it's not about the severity of the punishment handed out to Derby County. It's the lack of punishment handed out to the other ones. Yeah. But we said it at the time. We sat here and said this. Those clubs should have been royally screwed. They should all have 20, 30 point deductions in the Premier League.
3 million is a piss in the wind to them, isn't it? 3 million fine.
It would have been quite funny though if Man City had to play their under 23s. That would be, if they said, "Oh, just throw them down to the Championship." Well, they can just go down to play in the Championship, not actually win the right to play there like teams do in the other 92 clubs. So we're saying don't scrap the League Cup. Excellent. Let's have a look at Saints. Bayliss, I'll start with you. Are you looking forward to this one? It seems like a trip to Southampton.
Yes, I'm going. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not as optimistic as I was the last time we went, to be honest. The last week sort of not put me off, but turned my opinion of the football. I think Brentford really did do a job on us, and we looked so shaky against Tottenham in the first half that I'm now back to a little bit more worried again, rather than the 1-0 losses and the Watford win, and we're all a bit more buoyant. Southampton are a bit hit and miss, aren't they? So maybe if we have our day, they don't have theirs, then great.
It's quite similar teams, aren't we, Harry, really? I mean, I'll ask you to read out that team that you put together. I think we only had our left backs that were maybe different. But on the point of being similar, I think, Ward-Prowse, very, very good from set pieces. I mean, everyone says Neves is, but jury's out on that one. But then we've got the two fastest players in the Premier League playing against each other in Armstrong and Adama, which just sounds like a crap detective
is he
series.
Is he fit, Armstrong? Because I know he had a knock, didn't he? I hope he ain't playing because he's decent. Yeah, but I'll put this... we were talking about in WhatsApp, weren't we? And this is the team I want to see play, which is probably won't happen because we probably will stick to a 5. But I want to see, obviously, Sarr back in goal, Semedo right back, Kilman, Bolly and Ait-Nouri in a back 4. Ait-Nouri, by the way, he did have a concussion, but apparently he will be okay for this game, if you believe the Twitter sphere, so he probably won't be. Neves and Dendoncker in midfield, with Wang, Hee-Chan, Podence and Traore as like a 3 behind Raul. A lot of people, when I put the team out there, were saying they'd rather see Hwang in the number 10 instead of Podence, and Podence on the left of the attacking midfielders. So I would just love to see that team. 4 at the back, drop Cody. He's had a shocking few games. And I know we're a bit shaky at the back, but we can't defend with 5, so let's just go with 4 and try and score more than the opposition. That's what I want us to do.
That's the point of football, I suppose, isn't it? So I think I had that team, but I had Marcel instead of Ait-Nouri. Jack, what would yours be?
I mean, seem to have problems through the whole spine at the moment, really. Not so much in midfield, but we're just light there. But from what I've seen of Jimenez so far this season and what I saw of Fabio Silva last night, I don't think either of them should be starting. I'd actually play Hwang up front. I'd play Hwang up front because at least he tried and he did all right last night. Played a little bit out of position, but for me, I'd love to see us try a back 4. It's just I can't see it happening. I think we'll go back to a back 5. It'll be the same thing over again. Jimenez will start, and it'll be the same thing. I mean, if Southampton have been watching us the last few games, they'll be like, "Hang on, who are we going to target here? Just get in their faces, run at them, do what you've got to do. You know who to target, and eventually they'll make a mistake, and it will happen." So I'd like to see something a bit different. I'd like to see us actually go for it, but I can't see it happening. It'll be probably the same team as last week, won't it? But I'd like to see Ait-Nouri as well because I think he did all right. But I know he obviously did have that concussion. But Marcel has been good as well. You can't slate Marcel because he gave away a penalty, really.
Brentford,
but overall he's been good though. That's what I mean. Overall he's been good though, apart from last week, which is the same for everybody. So let's hope last week was a one-off and. There's going to be everyone wants changes, all the fans do, but let's face it, there's going to be minimal changes. But let's hope the performance is like it was in the first few games.
Do you know what else worries me as well? Southampton are yet to win this season. They've had 4 draws, obviously a point ahead of us. They drew Man City 0-0 last game, so they're due a win, aren't they?
I'll take a draw.
And they drew 0-0 at West Ham and City, so that showed they can defend. We can't score. They're due a win. It's written in the stars that we're going to fucking lose this game. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but God.
Bayliss, any changes for you?
I just found that really funny that Marcel's had one bad week, and everyone's saying him dropping him. Yet Semedo has one good week in 5, and you all want to have it.
How have you changed the subject to Semedo? That's unbelievable.
What, the reason gone, Marcel, he's had one bad week. Every other game he's been absolutely fantastic.
I think realistically that's what happened. Yeah,
competition because Ait-Nouri had some good runs last night. It was exciting against Tottenham. If you take out Semedo, you've got to play Hoover. And
Hoover was all right last night.
Yeah, but he's not good enough, is he? I don't think.
Do you remember the really good old days when we had Johnny? Remember that?
Yeah.
I forgot he existed for a second then.
Hold on, Bayliss, would you start Hoover over Semedo Sunday?
No,
he's not stupid.
Probably not. Hoover gets caught in behind too much.
And Semedo don't.
I think we are bad at the back. There's no two ways about it.
Take your boots down. You might get a game.
So yeah,
run about.
You spank one in the Solent. I can run about. Hockey tactics. Let's do a score prediction, Harry.
I'm always silly with these. I always say like 4-1.
You're very silly, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to 2-1 Southampton.
Jack.
1-1.
Bayliss.
Weird. I was going to go 1-1. Do you want me to change it now? I'll go.
No, I'll go 2-1.
Hold on. Before we move on, this comment I think is really interesting from Hungry by the Wolf. I don't know if you can read it. If we do go 4 at the back, he thinks we would play 3 centre mids. The only problem is we've got no backup to those 3 if they all start.
That's the thing. That is exactly because that's just seamlessly Hungry like the Wolf. Goes on to what I was going to say about Morgan Gibbs-White and what he's doing at Sheffield United. I know it's a step down when we keep saying that he's found his level. It's good, but it is going to be his breakthrough season. It's just not playing for Wolves. 3 starts, 2 goals, 2 assists, 2.7 shots per game, 2.3 key passes per game, 100% unbeaten. Is it a mistake? Was it a mistake, Harry?
Well, he's not. Is he playing centre midfield from now, or is he playing like attacking on the wing? I said on last week's podcast, there's too many players in his position in our squad at the moment. If he was naturally a centre midfielder, then it was a disaster that we let him go. But he wanted to play football. We brought in Hwang. You got Hwang, Pedence. We've got Neto to come back. We've got Traore. He had so much competition for places. He wasn't going to get a game.
It's completely the right thing to do. Well. It's exactly what we want. You need a young player to go and learn how to play the game, and he's doing it well. And we still own him. If we'd have sold him for £3 million, we should all be fuming, but we don't. We didn't, did we? So a
bit like Artazawi. Although that was 3.5 million. So yeah,
is he doing well though? No one knows. No one cares.
I think they got a good result against like Barcelona, didn't they, in the Champions League? I don't think he played though, and I don't think he's on the bench actually. But just a couple of comments from Sheffield United fans, because I think someone posted on Twitter right now: if Wolves are willing to sell, and you were the owner, how much would you offer them for Morgan Gibbs-White? Realistically speaking. And they're saying he's worth 25, so it's McBurney plus 25. Realistically, McBurney plus 12. Burge plus 5, probably worth 15 million. Young Prem English bumps up that to 20. I'd try and loan him again if we're promoted with a loan to buy of 25 million plus add-ons or flat out offer of 25 million. He's worth 20 million. Signed Brewster for 22 and McBurney for 18. He's got to be at least 30 million. Lots of 15s, 20s.
Well, didn't they? The Swansea fans loved him as well. And I mean, he took his goal well against Forest, didn't he? When he played like left forward. It's just unfortunate for him. The most covered area is his strongest position. So, like Bayless said, he's doing the right thing. He's playing football and may continue. And you never know. In a few years, he will have his breakthrough season. For
it will, yeah. When he's 35 and it's his testimonial game, it's like he's made it.
We're in League Two.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And he'll be a cult hero. Let's get your latest betting odds and ticket news.
Sprung that on me. Cheers.
Well, you've been doing it every week for 3 years. I mean, I didn't really that much of a surprise.
But I didn't know it was now. I haven't got many yet because there aren't any specials up for the game.
Is it Sky Bet, yeah?
Yeah. There aren't no specials up yet. And the odds aren't that great. 2-1 Wolves, Hee-Chan to score first, 35-1.
Like that.
That's not too bad.
Not very good odds. 4-1 Wolves, Harry Mansell special, Rouse score first, 220-1.
Oh,
yes.
Dog shit to score first, 2-2 draw.
I'm trying to work out who dog shit is.
5 and Cody was it?
No, that's great. Sorry, there's so many of them at the back.
It could be anyone.
I had to actually no. Semedo to score first, 2-2 draw.
Oh man,
it's got to be like
that's 400-1.
Yeah, see, they haven't done them properly yet. 350-1.
Okay, well,
I would suggest if you do actually listen to this betting nonsense, then go back on there in a couple of days' time when they've done the specials and all the prices will be way better.
Excellent. And just some betting news, which isn't really anything to do with this, but Harry, you whacked it in the group.
Oh my God.
Jack Hutchings on Twitter, Betfair, pleasure doing business with you. Dendonka, 2 or more headed shots on target at 250 to 1. Zychek, 1 or more right-footed shots on target and 1 or more left-footed shots on target. That was in the Chelsea Villa game at 175. And it was a double, £2.50 stake, £110,000. Back
I'd be dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This screams of more Photoshop than a dazzling day weekend away.
Making friends.
I'm not so sure.
Betfair replied to the tweet. It's legit.
Okay.
Betfair literally replied. Unless it's a promotional hoax, but it looked legit to me.
Oh, fair
on
enough.
the screenshot, there was other bets as well that he'd lost. He's probably lost 200 grand in the last week, but...
Oh, yeah, we never talk about those.
You put £2.50 on it.
Yeah, but that is mental, isn't it? Yeah. That. Who would think? Yeah, I know. Dendonka's gonna have 2 headers on target today.
Well, I thought we were going to. Yeah, that's true. I thought we were going to score in the Premier League before now, but there you go. At home, Jack has some ticket news.
I have a little bit. Yeah. So Southampton at the weekend is sold out. Just over. It's a good away for him for that. I think it's 3,300.
Sold out. I've seen more tickets on Twitter flying about than Shergar's left.
Wow, officially sold out. You know what I mean?
Which one? They got 4 legs.
I think the Newcastle home game is basically sold out as well, but I do have information for Aston Villa away, which is the 16th of October, 3 p.m. kickoff. Allocation of 3,012. So that is on sale to the gold season ticket holders as of Friday the 24th, the silvers as of Monday the 27th, and on the points starting with 1,050 as of Wednesday the 29th. Now, you got to give credit Villa where it's due, because I saw this on Twitter as well. It's really good. So the adults are priced at £30, but they also offer a student and armed forces discount. How much do you think that is? How much do you think that is?
40%. It's like £29.50.
It is £30. It actually says that on the thing. It's like adults £30, full-time students and armed forces £30, over 65 £28.50. Thanks, chaps.
Well, there you go. Excellent. We'll move on to a government ban, I think, is going to come in 2023-24 season, which would affect around 15 Premier League and Championship clubs as it stands, because they won't be allowed to have betting sponsors on the front of shirts. Is that a good thing? I mean, it is for us because we obviously hate the sponsor, but it probably won't even be our sponsor by that time, because it's food for thought, isn't it, Harry?
Yeah, will it just be shirts? Do we know if it'll be around the stadiums as well? I don't know if that's a rule, but we spoke about this on a podcast ages ago. I remember, if people have listened for a while,
we're ahead of the curve.
Yeah, but like we did, and I think our argument back then was, then do you then ban like beer sponsors as well? It's all about addiction, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
So obviously, you get the shakes down the pub when you see Bet365 on someone's topper on an advert. And if you see Carlin, obviously you 3 get the shakes. I don't drink, so yeah. I think I just think I think it was going to happen eventually. The way the PC world's going, you know what I mean? Everything's
PC world.
You know what I mean, though. Like, everyone gets offended by everything. Everything's wrong now, so you got no free will. And eventually we're going to be living in a box, not being able to do anything, never mind bet on football. So, yeah, I think it was coming, and we'll be sponsored by Sellotape next season or something like that.
No, that's made out of cow's hooves, and that.
There we go. Then.
That's a good point. Though. I wonder what the sponsor could possibly be, because it's going to cost these companies.
Wolves Records.
I would
Wolves
go.
Records.
It's Wolves Records. Yeah.
No, it's going to be a random Chinese company that none of us ever heard of.
That could be true.
As long as it looks good, I don't really care.
Won't be what were they called? What was that massive Chinese company that went bust this week?
Should get Doritos back. I like that one.
Did you hear that one, Adam? By the way, a company like Fosun in China went absolutely belly up and went bust this week. So 1 down. We're next.
We'll be with Derby, 12-point deduction soon.
Is it a good move? Because I mean, Bayliss, do you think it weakens the market forces or strengthens them? That it has a price, and that if it's got fewer businesses to open up to, does that mean that you can charge more, or does it mean that the value goes down? Because it could go either way, arguably.
Have you ever been on manbet.cn?
I have never been on it. That's a good point, actually, Bayliss. Never.
No. Neither have I.
Never heard of it.
So it's clearly not there to advertise to anyone, any of us.
Are you Sporting Bet back in the day when we were sponsored by them?
Yeah,
I remember going on that.
As well.
Yeah,
I use Boyle Sports, but they're a sponsor indirectly, I think, aren't they?
They used to be the one around the stadium, didn't they, for a little while? I think.
Yeah.
So it's not for us.
Is this definitely happened, or is this they're thinking about it? I didn't actually see this online.
It's like Wolves are weird though. Wolves are really weird. Like today, did you see that on was it the Tottenham game or even the Brentford game where the training shirts are now sponsored by Royal Caribbean?
Yeah. It was Shaw last year, wasn't it? It's like the spray.
Like, why isn't it stuff that people want to buy? Like
prostitutes.
A pie company or
Pucker. He was sponsored by Pucker Pies. So someone was.
Don't compromise. The championship, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, surely they're supposed to advertise to what the fans want, which proves
the
what's the club not for us.
Logo? What's the Club Med logo look like? I like it. Yeah, well, it's blue though.
They own Club Med though, don't they? So what's
it? Yeah, you can. Well, Etihad is sponsored of the stadium and City.
I'm not that bothered about us not being able to have sponsors on our shirts, but you can see why they're doing it because a lot of people are addicted to gambling. On a serious note, you know what I mean? A lot of people do fall down that trap and lose a lot of money.
Lots of people are addicted to heroin, but we're not going to put Mac across the front of our tops, are we?
Yeah, we're not.
But then I suppose the question is what Harry said. Then it's where do you draw the line? What is acceptable addiction and what is
about there?
Should we talk about Wolves label?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, it could be on the front of it. Wolves have. It's just another financial arm of the business, isn't it, Harry? You know, we keep saying Fosun are an investment firm. They're looking at building the brand, the Wolves brand, and I don't think anyone would have particularly cared, to be honest, if we weren't losing every game.
That's the bad thing. It was really bad timing to announce it, but let's be honest. I think it's Russell Jones who sorts all this stuff out, and everyone was blaming him for the fact that we had spent no money in the transfer window, which is funny in itself. But it was bad timing, and it is a completely separate thing, isn't it? It's something different. I think even the BBC reported on it today. We could be trendsetters, couldn't we? It could be like something that does really well for us, but it's in the marketing department. They're trying something new. They're trying to get our name and everything out there to make us bigger, but we do want them to concentrate on the pitch, don't we? But as I said, it is separate, and I have already sent a CD in, so you might hear me be signed up by them in a few years. I did a Celine Dion solo for 4 minutes straight, and I'm hoping to get.
When is Walking in Telford coming out?
I'm walking in Telford.
Oh God!
It's one of these great ideas that would have been fantastic if we were 6th or 7th in the league and had won 3 games.
No one would care.
They'd have been like, "Oh,
they wouldn't care, would they?" No.
Whereas now it's sort of rubbing salt into the wounds a little bit. Oh, we're shit, but you can listen to some absolute rubbish.
I do like the fact that
dubstep.
I like the fact that SX.
I could not think of a genre of music.
Do you know that? Do you three know that SX is? You know the one that they always use for the promos.
Yeah.
I thought it was Rag and Bone Man, and then it wasn't.
No, it's not. He's the producer guy. Like you say, KSI's mate, and he's on Gogglebox with him.
He's like produced a lot of really good songs, and obviously he's from Wolverhampton. So I like that angle a bit. So that's why they're using him. So
it's only worthwhile if next time they say, and now we've got Slade and Beverly Knight. Then I'm interested.
Ozzy Osbourne, Sharon, where's my bit? Who's hitting my fucking beers?
The other thing that I found weird about that is Wolves have launched a record label, and we have probably the biggest living rock star on the board, and we haven't used him as part of the marketing.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
shows what he thinks.
Yeah, he don't want to be involved. Does he?
Also, Martin Webb's comment was really funny.
Yeah, hold on, I'll get that up. Sam, have you seen it?
Bloody hell, Sam! That colour chart on your wall has been up for months. I know.
No, not that one. The next one.
Oh, yeah, that's not the one you put on the screen. We should be sponsored by Vaseline because the board are dry bumming Lage.
Oh, for God's sake.
There you go. I just read it. It's just not a kid. That can be my Ron Burgundy moment, though.
We actually met Martin on the train on the way back from Man U, didn't we, Sam? Less we talk about that, the better. But it was good to meet him.
Bye.
Good time.
We were absolutely hammered.
Oh, God, yeah. You know it's bad when you're tripping over the aisles in some corner shop. Going, I think it's 3 for a tenner. It wasn't. Stocking up. Excellent. Well, I think that's pretty much about it. I mean, we've talked about safe standing in the past, and obviously that is making a comeback, isn't it? In the new year, so it's already safe standing in the.
It's another point to prove that the media only care when it's the top 6 and nobody else. We've had safe standing for ages. Everyone loves it.
Yeah.
Thanks for catching up. 2 years late.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got some great videos of Harry dancing, says mine. Yeah, Martin, if you could delete those, that'd be great.
Harry doesn't dance; he just floats across the floor.
Yeah. Head spin.
Right. Look, we'll leave it there. We'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Goodbye, everyone. Beat Southampton.
Yeah, and Jack Williams.
Bye, everybody. Don't lose to Southampton.
And Dan Bayliss.
Yeah, goodbye, Wolves fans.
And it's a goodbye from me. Goodbye.
Cheers, everyone. And